The ground split beneath his feet, buildings cracked like paper, and screams filled the streets, but all Michael could think about was saving that little boy trapped under the rubble. Michael Turner, a 36-year-old single father, had faced many storms in life, but none like this one. It was supposed to be an ordinary morning in Los Angeles. He had dropped his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, at school and gone to work at the construction company where he had been employed for nearly a decade. But by noon, the earth itself decided to test him in ways he never imagined. The earthquake hit hard, 7.8 on the scale. Sirens wailed, glass shattered, and chaos erupted everywhere. As people ran for their lives, Michael saw a collapsed car near the office gate. Beneath it, a small boy was crying, trapped by debris. Without hesitation, Michael threw away his safety helmet and rushed toward him. He ignored the falling chunks of concrete, ignoring the shouts of his supervisor who yelled, "Michael, get back here!" But Michael couldn't. He remembered Lily, how scared she'd be if she were in that boy's place. He lifted the heavy slab with trembling arms, blood dripping from a cut on his forehead. It took every ounce of his strength, but he freed the boy and carried him to safety. Moments later, the office building behind him collapsed completely. The shockwave threw Michael to the ground. His vision blurred, and when he woke up, he was lying on a stretcher, surrounded by paramedics. The boy's mother, her clothes covered in dust, was kneeling beside him, crying with gratitude. "You saved my son," she said, gripping his hand. But before Michael could reply, everything faded into darkness. When he regained consciousness hours later in the hospital, he learned the worst news. His company had been destroyed. The owner had decided to cut staff to survive the economic fallout, and Michael, who didn't show up after the quake, was among those fired. That night, Michael sat on the edge of his bed, holding Lily close. His hands trembled as he whispered, "I don't know what we'll do, sweetheart. But I promise you we'll be okay." Lily looked up at him with innocent eyes. "Daddy, God saw what you did. He'll take care of us." Michael smiled weakly. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to believe that good deeds still meant something in a world that often rewarded power over kindness. The next day, he returned home after visiting what was left of his office, just piles of dust and steel. His phone was dead, his wallet empty, and his heart heavy. But just as he turned onto his street, something made him stop. His small, worn-down house was surrounded by 10 gleaming Ferraris. Red, black, white all lined neatly in front of his gate. Neighbors gathered, whispering and pointing. Michael froze, thinking it must be some mistake. Ben adored her. He'd sit beside her, covered in paint, saying, "Miss Lily, when I grow up, I'll make enough money so you never have to sell your art again." For the first time in years, Lily laughed without pain. But the journey wasn't easy. Her health began to worsen before the final round of treatment. Some days she couldn't even lift her brush. Ethan stayed by her side through it all, driving her to appointments, making sure she ate, and sometimes just sitting in silence as she sketched with trembling hands. When she wanted to give up, Ethan would look her in the eye and say, "You paint hope, Lily. Don't stop living what you paint." And she didn't. Months later, after her last chemo session, the doctors gave her the news: her cancer was in remission. She was weak, but alive. Alive because someone had cared enough to do the unthinkable. She threw herself into her art, creating a special painting, a man holding a child's hand, walking toward a sunrise. She titled it "The Stranger Who Gave Me Tomorrow." On the day of her first art exhibition, she stood beside that painting as tears filled her eyes. The crowd applauded as Ethan and Ben walked in, both dressed neatly. "This is your work?" a gallery owner asked. Lily smiled proudly. "It's more than my work. It's my story." Because sometimes, one act of kindness can save not just a life, but a soul. Ethan walked up, his eyes glistening. "I didn't just help you, Lily. You helped me remember what hope feels like." Years later, Lily became a successful painter, her art spreading messages of love and resilience around the world. She continued to fund treatment for young cancer patients, each donation signed anonymously, from a girl who was once helped by a stranger. And every weekend, she still visited Ethan and Ben, her little found family who reminded her that the world, despite its pain, still had good people.